So this video is answering a specific question, which is why should you not do practice exams 1 through 3 on collegeboard.org or the Blue Book site? And basically, it's because the College Board changed the SAT format um, significantly since they made it digital. So when they made it digital, they offered the Desmos calculator as an online calculator to do with the digital exam. And some of the problems were more easily done with Desmos than with algebra. And from what I've seen, they've decided that is not the way to go. So in practice exams 7 through 10, you can clearly see that they give advantages to students who are doing as much algebra as possible and not relying so much on Desmos. When using Desmos, it kind of either is going to take you longer or it's going to be about the same. But I'm going to show you a practice exam 1 problem, which is way faster with Desmos. And this is the kind of problem you're not going to see anymore. So you should not be doing practice exam 1. So here's the practice exam 1 problem. It's number 6. It's a circle problem. And I'm going to do it first with algebra and see how long it takes. And then I'm going to do it with Desmos and see how long it takes. Okay. So with algebra, and this problem is like difficult enough that you would need the help with a 4-function calculator at least. You can't do it completely without any calculator. So we have a something that looks like a quadratic, but it's got x's and y's in it. In fact, it also has p's in it. It's a big mess, right? So this is probably going to be a circle because it's got x squared and it's got y squared in it, and both of these are plus, okay? Um, and they tell you that it's a circle. And they tell us also that the radius of the circle is np, and that n and p are both positive constants. And at the end, what they want to know is what is the value of n. And probably when you start this problem, it's like so complex you don't even know what's going on. But whenever you have a circle problem and you want to figure out what the radius is, what you're going to do is you're going to put it in the form x squared plus y squared equals r squared, right? So now I'm going to start the clock, and we're going to do that. So to get this into x squared plus y squared equals r squared, or more generally, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared, where hk is the vertex or the center of the circle, we need to complete the square twice, right? So first what we're going to do is we're going to complete the square for the x terms, and then we're going to complete the squares for the y term. And one of the things that makes this a circle and also makes it easier to complete the square for is uh, both the x and the y squared terms have a leading 8. And so we can make this a little bit easier by dividing everything by 8. So we're going to divide every single term by 8. We're going to divide the left side by 8 and the right side by 8. So we'll end up with x squared plus 112 divided by 8 px plus y squared minus 8py equals, and then we'll have negative 448p squared, also divided by 8. I have done some of the divisions here. So on the 4-function calculator, you would do 112 divided by 8. That's 14. You would do 448 divided by 8. That would be 56. So I would end up with negative 56p squared on the right side. I would have x squared plus 14px for the x terms, and then I would have plus y squared minus 8py for the y terms, and then I would just need to complete the square for each one of these. If you don't know how to complete the square, um, then I can refer you to other videos. Just ask in the comments for a video on how to complete the square. To complete the square, basically we're going to take the coefficient for the x, and we're going to add oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're gonna add 14 divided by p divided by 2 squared. So that would be 7p squared, right? 7p squared, which would be 49p squared. And we would add that to both sides. And then we would do the same thing here. We would have negative 8p, which is the coefficient for the y term. We divide that by 2, and then we would square that. So that would be negative 4p squared, which is equal to 16p squared. So we would add 16p squared here, and we would add 16p squared here. Now, if we add negative 56 plus 49 plus 16, that would be 49 plus 16 is 65. 65, right? 65 minus 56 is 9. So the right side would become 9p squared. And the left side, you can see that these are both perfect squares. And so this is where we finish off the completing the square. We have x plus 7p squared plus y minus 4p squared. And now we have it in this form, right? So now we know that h is negative 7p, k is positive 4p, and we know that r squared is 9p squared, and we know that r is equal to 3p. And they said that the radius is actually np, and so now we kind of know what they meant. They were asking for what n is, which turns out to be 3, and so the answer is 3. That took me 4 minutes, right? Now I'm going to do it with Desmos, okay? So on Desmos, maybe you don't even know what the heck this is, but the first thing you're going to do is you're just going to type it into Desmos. So let's do that. We're going to type this into Desmos. Let's see, I don't even read the instructions. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to type it into Desmos. Plus 112px plus 8y squared minus 64py equals negative 448p squared. Okay, and it says add a slider p. Sure, why not? Okay, and I'll see what does the slider p do, and it's kind of weird. Slider p basically makes the circle bigger and moves it to the left and up. Does a lot of different things, right? But one thing that is not that difficult is they're asking what is the radius uh, in terms of NP, right? So like let's figure out what the radius is at some value of P, and then we'll be able to figure out what N is, okay? So let's set P to 1, because that would be kind of the easiest thing to calculate, and then if we need to, we could change it to something else. But when P is 1, R happens to be, and this is really easily countable with blocks, the R is 3, right? It's 6 across, which is the diameter, 3 is the radius, so R is 3. Then they say that R is NP, and P is 1, right? So, and R is 3, so N is 3, okay? And we've done that without understanding x squared plus y squared equals r squared, and we're done. And that was 2 minutes. Okay, so the Desmos method, the longest it would take would be 2 minutes. The algebra method, more like 4 minutes. They wanted to eliminate that advantage to Desmos users. They wanted students who knew how to deal with an equation like this. They wanted those students to be able to get the answer faster. So let's look at a practice exam 10 problem. And so this is like in the format of the newer SAT. And so this problem doesn't look as difficult, but it doesn't just ask you what the radius is, right? If they asked you what the radius is, remember x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is r squared. When you look at this, the radius here is 4, right? The radius is 4, and the radius is 4 for all of these, right? They're not asking us for the radius. They're asking which one shows a circle in the xy plane that intersects the y axis at exactly one point, which means that it would, kind of like touch the y-axis, right there. Okay. Um, for this, the student would have to know which one's the x and the y-axis, how that appears here, right? Um, and if you know what H and K do, then you would know that this particular circle has a center at 8 comma 8, and we know that the radius is 4, so that has no chance of just touching the y-axis. It would be too far away. This one here would be 8 comma 4. 8 comma 4 would be a circle which touches this axis perfectly, right? Because the height of the center would be 4. The height of the center would be 4. And so it would perfectly touch the x-axis, not the y-axis. So it's not this one either. This one here has a center at 4 comma 9. And this one would be 4 units over from the y-axis. So this would be the answer, right? And of course you could like find this answer just by typing every single one of these into Desmos, right? Because if I typed x minus 4 squared, and of course this would be the third option, so I would have typed two others in here before. Plus y minus 9 squared. And this is like assuming that I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what 16 meant. I didn't know what 4 and 9 meant. But you can see it draws this little picture here, and I could see that it perfectly touches the y-axis. Once I type in option C, I know that this is the right answer. But I will have already typed in 3 of these, whereas, the more I am comfortable with this formula, the faster I would figure out that C was the right answer, right? So they want to give the advantage to the student who really understands the algebra and not necessarily someone who's blindly typing things into Desmos. So that's why you should um, be aware that practice exam 1 is the old style, which doesn't take that into account. Okay.